Gives me great pleasure to once again do the forward for Professor Wally Jay's tape. Professor Jay, really in essence, was my hero when I was in high school, along with my own judo instructor, Duke Yoshimura of Stockton. It's somebody that, Professor Jay is somebody I've always looked up to, and I really wish there were more martial art teachers like him in the United States. I think the more people we have like Professor Jay. Yeah, again, I feel after watching the first tape that this is going to be a very beneficial tape. I know he's very innovating as far as having this new small circle theory, and as I said before in the first tape, that it's going to help you whether you're a karate man or if you're a jiu-jitsu man or a judo man or a kung fu man. It's only going to better your concept of doing martial art properly. So again, I feel very, very privileged to do the forward for Professor Jay.
Aiki extension is one that is done in many Aikido and Aiki Jujitsu Dojos. This is very good for establishing a strong center. Okay, first of all, Professor Jay, I'd like to welcome you to our home here and also our dojo. It's a pleasure and an honor to have you here.
Well, it's a great pleasure for myself. I thought I was in Japan for a while, you know. It's a really nice looking place.
Thank you, sir. Maybe you can start by telling us a little bit about your background. I understand that you've been involved in the martial arts for, I'd say, over 40 years now, and in Hawaii, so if you could go from there.
Well, I started in 1935, or 50 years ago, and Paul Kaile Makuli at the Mormon Gym in Kalihi. And we had hardwood floors, no mats those days. Take a beating, so we quit. Came back again at 40. And since the time, well, I really got interested. And I met a guy that was a judo teacher, and he was a Hawaiian champion, territorial champion. And he was 135 pounds. His name was Kenneth Kawachi. And he impressed me because he used to throw 235-pound people around, 250 pounds. He weighs only 135 pounds. And he just handled him on the mat like nothing. I'm just amazed that a man that small can handle it. So that really put a lot of interest in me.
And then you started judo at that time?
I started jiu-jitsu and judo.
Jiu-jitsu.
I started jiu-jitsu first, then I went to judo. But it complements each other.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Okay, I understand you also were raised in the Kalihi area of Oahu.
I was raised in Kalihi, where Ed Parker came from my area. Bob Olsen, former middleweight champion of the world, he was there, from there. When I was in Kalihi, I was very frail. See, I was small. When I graduated high school, I was very small. And after I got out, then I grew about 5 feet 9.5, what I am today, but I was only 112, 118 pounds. So I learned how to box. And I was never strong, but so I took jiu-jitsu. And I found out that you can handle big people. I'm really amazed that I took a judo from a teacher named Ken Kawachi, territorial champion. He was 135 pounds. He threw professional wrestlers 235, 250 pounds around the place. There must be something to it. It was leverage, balance, and the wrists. That's why I put so much emphasis on the wrists, and I found that it really worked. So after I started jiu-jitsu, I started to change. I felt that the traditional form was insufficient for me because a lot of things didn't work really. But it was, you know, part of the show. You touch a guy's foot, he jumps over you and takes a fall and looks good, you know. But when you do it, it doesn't work that way. So I started to manage to change things, and that's where the small circle came in. And we changed it for quite a while, and then I came to California with the judo team. I moved to California, and we entered the California matches against Hawaii. It was Hoka Judo in Tanchikai, Northern California Judo Black Belt Association. They wiped us out. The highest rank had a big laugh, and he cracked a joke about Wally Jay's judo. The boy and I was humiliated. We all sat in the bleachers, all the teachers, and they all turned and faced me. They're laughing at me right in front of my face. So I said, I'm going to come back again. I said this to myself. And this time I won't come back until I can beat you folks. I was content to be second, but no more now, I says. And that's where the small circle, I start to really put my time and I made a lot of changes. That was in 1953 when I first entered. 1960, I was Coach of the Year. They voted me. It was a pretty fast change. But I knew that in order to beat them, I couldn't go in Kodokan Judo because they knew all the answers. I had to go out of the system and come back in again. That's what I did. And it paid off. I produced many national champions. And in many tournaments, we took the team title. So it was very gratifying.
What I'd like to touch on now maybe is there are a lot of good arts in themselves, like Aikido, Judo, Karate. But for some areas like police work and practical aspects in the street, sometimes each art by itself may not be sufficient. Could you touch on that topic for a little?
Yeah, I believe in blending the best of other systems because there's no perfect martial arts. No system is perfect. But by blending, you can put together the best that fits you. Sometimes it may fit you but doesn't fit the other person. But if you teach fundamentals, they can do their own thinking. That's why I believe in teaching principles besides technique. And then the student, when they make the black belt, they'll understand. And then from there, they can go on their own and they can create. But many people don't even know principles and they start creating. And it's wrong. They don't know what they're doing, really.
And I think from here, we'll go into the dojo and have you demonstrate some of your small circle theory of Jiu-Jitsu.
Only happy to.
Wow.
Okay. My wrist locks are right here. You always have to follow through one technique after another. You cannot go one and stop. That's what we learned. This is one technique. This is another technique, but there's no continuity. You have to have the fluidity when you go down, up, up. So try to attack the weak points of the body, like this one, see? This is done so he doesn't raise his arm. If he raises his arm, he's on the way to escape, see? So I just changed technique. Hold, raise the arm again. Thank you. Almost missed it on bar. Right here. Because once I grip tight, he feel all the moves. He can escape. I can feel him. I gotta feel him. So I normally grab it tight, but my sinews are really relaxed. But I just grip firmly like this. But all the rest is relaxed. So whatever move he makes, I feel it right here. Wherever my body contact is, I feel it. So grab it here, I feel it in my thumbs, in my palm over here. So he can do anything he wants to and he won't escape. He can do anything he wants to. But in reality, here's what I do. Boom! That's it. So you can escape. He can't do anything. Pick it up.
Do that.
My background is Aikido.
Yeah.
So in the streets, sometimes I start with basic Sankyo. Okay, sometimes I found, like I always talk about the lumberjack that I had to handle that with hand. Well, the person is strong, his hands are bloody or oily, he starts pulling back and all that. He might eventually be able to pull out. But adapting to like Jiu-Jitsu techniques, if from here, if I grab the small finger, then basically I have it under control. And if the finger gets broken, well, I always tell the officers to write in the report, the suspect broke his fingers while resisting. I don't go out to break the fingers, but if he fights me, then he breaks his own finger. So we have this, or we switch to also two-finger kind. I think it's kind of like the small circle, like you call it. We're doing something similar without realizing that it's a small circle thing. Also, sometimes I'll use the thumb, these kind of things. And being able to go from one to the other, turn the person around, take him down if necessary, take him off his back for handcuffing, or help him stand up again. You know, same thing.
There's a flow.
The flow I think is important, being able to change from one to the other, immobilize his other hand if necessary, or even have him stand up. If you want to, then you can immediately get his other hand down and you got him under control, one hand or the other. And also going into similar like these kind of techniques. But I noticed you use the last two fingers normally.
Yeah.
And we've tried that since I've seen the tape, and I think it's highly worth it. You think, John, did it work?
Yeah. That's the weakest one.
The weakest one.
Yeah, when I grab, usually I try not to grab part of the hand, just the fingers.
So from here, right away, you go.
It's only 2 fingers. Any fingers doesn't matter, but the point is here and here. So center of the body.
Yeah. When you come into a suspect, every situation will vary. But what have you found that has worked for you well? Did you grab the wrist spot first and then put it on, or how would you apply?
Normally, I like to grab right here. If you resist me, feel it? See, as soon as you grab it, you can dislocate the elbow you want to, just push. But normally I don't, it sends it down. Up. Palm face up and go down. But when I grab this, like this technique, normally I grab. I used to bring it back, but recently I changed it to the side. More pain this way. Instead of back here, it's too much play. In a way, you don't see much.
So what you're doing is similar, but now instead of back, the angle is coming inside. That work very well.
You see this, you see the play right here? That's what we're here for. To trade.
Fine tune the techniques.
And you can also do this too. So I'll see you do this too. Right here. Technique over here. This one here. Over here. Up, up, up. Let's throw in watch. Up, up. So you see this way. It doesn't take strength, but accuracy is important. And you gotta change the angle. See? Okay. Sometimes I do this way, on his toes. Now I'm gonna, on this side. So the circle is this one, now the circle moves this way. Move in place. Come on.
Professor Wally Jay, thank you very much on behalf of our dojo. I appreciate it very much.
Good people.